What was the work of the Old Testament ministers? Number one, they were to ensure that every Israelite was free from sin. All the sacrifices they offered was for a purpose to free every Israelite from every sin. Number two, the works of the priests included, amongst others, this point, to ensure that every Israelite was free from every sickness. Once the door of sin is open, sickness comes. Their work was to ensure that no Israelite had any sickness. Number three, their work was to ensure that every Israelite was free from lack and want. For as long as they did their work, none of them lacked anything. None of them. Number four, they were to ensure that every Israelite was never oppressed by the enemy. For as long as they did their work, no enemy oppressed any Israeli. Number five, they were to ensure that every Israeli was never enslaved by the enemy. Never. Never. Number six, they were to ensure that every Israeli was never defeated by the enemy. And number seven, finally, they were to ensure that no Israelite was ever abandoned below any, but they were to be above only, never below, on top only, never beneath. These were the seven fundamental things that the Old Testament priests and Levites did all they did in the tabernacle of worship to enforce. For as long as they did their work and the Israelites were free from sin, none of them suffered any of these evils. Listen, we have a better work, a far-reaching assignment and mandate to accomplish. And I will show you that in the next video. But for now, remember that the priests that God called and gave an assignment had a mandate. One, to ensure that every Israelite was free from sin. To ensure that every Israelite was free from every sickness. To ensure that every Israelite was free from lack and want or poverty. To ensure that every Israelite was never oppressed by any enemy. Number five, to ensure that every Israelite was never enslaved by any enemy. To ensure that every Israelite was never defeated by any enemy. And to ensure that no Israelite was kept under servitude and slavery under the enemy, but they were to be above and on top only. May God give you wisdom for you to enforce this in a greater far-reaching dimension for us today. In Jesus' precious name.